Ever wondered why being a pirate sounds cool but is actually a nightmare? Imagine salty waves, buried treasures, and a smelly crew that hasn't showered in weeks. Yikes. Life on a pirate ship was no Caribbean cruise. It was full of danger, storms, and crazy tough conditions. Get ready to dive into the stormy world of medieval piracy, where staying alive wasn't just hard, it was nearly impossible. Think you could handle living on a ship where personal space is non-existent? Imagine squeezing into a hammock with barely enough room to move, sharing these cramped spaces with dozens of others. That was the reality aboard many pirate ships. Privacy? Forget it. Everything was communal, from sleeping to eating. Now let's dive into hygiene. Spoiler alert, it wasn't great. Bathing wasn't an option. Limited fresh water meant pirates rarely, if ever, washed themselves. Ships were also buzzing with rats, which carried disease and gnawed at stored food. Speaking of food, imagine biting into hardtack, a kind of bread, only to find it crawling with weevils. It gets worse. Meals were not nutritious, leading to sickness. Many pirates suffered from scurvy, a disease caused by a lack of vitamin C. Their gums bled, teeth fell out, and they were often too weak to even swab the deck. Illnesses like dysentery and typhus spread rapidly in such close quarters, making life even tougher. Ever heard about the Queen Anne's Revenge? This infamous ship led by Blackbeard was notorious, not just for its ferocity, but for the dreadful conditions on board. Blackbeard himself, feared by many, couldn't escape the health challenges of the pirate life. Known to suffer from ailments, he was frequently seen with slow-healing wounds, a testament to the lack of medical care and the harsh realities of sea life. These ships were sailing time bombs, with disease waiting to strike. Despite the adventurous allure, pirate life was truly perilous. Living as a medieval pirate meant more than swashbuckling and treasure hunts. It was about enduring dire, unhygienic conditions daily. The relentless battle against nature and disease defined their existence. Next time you think of pirates, remember the not-so-glamorous truth behind those tales of the high seas. Yet despite these harsh realities, there was an unyielding camaraderie among pirates. An unspoken brotherhood led them to protect and rely on one another. Trust was essential. Your crewmates were your support against the brutal sea. Weapons and battles were part of pirate life too. Imagine feeling the weight of a cutlass hanging at your side, or the thrill and terror of hearing cannons roar during a skirmish. Pirates crafted their own code, rules that governed their risky lives and made their ventures possible, with adventure just one part of their turbulent existence. Interestingly, pirates were often democratic in decision-making. Unlike most places of the time, captains were elected by their crew and could be replaced if they failed to deliver victories or fair shares of loot. Equal shares of treasure and a say in important choices, these were rare rights in an age rife with inequality. The lure of treasure was powerful, driving many to the dangerous edge. Gold, silver, jewels, imagining the wealth was intoxicating. But the truth was, treasure was often elusive. Many ships sailed empty waters for long periods, catching nothing but the wind. Victories, when they came, might bring rich plunder or just more hardship. Yet for those who dared, the sea offered an escape from tyranny, a chance to forge their own path, albeit a rocky one. Pirate life was like rolling dice at sea's mercy, with fortune favoring the bold. The longing for freedom was a strong force that surpassed the filthy quarters and perilous lifestyle. The sense of autonomy, however fleeting, was intoxicating. It was the promise of living by one's own rules that drove them forward, regardless of the sacrifices required. Venturing into their world reminds us that pirate life was much more than folklore and tales of daring escapes. It was a test of grit, solidarity, and the ceaseless quest for personal freedom. In many ways, they were the rebels of their time, challenging society in the most dangerous arena. Next time you dream of pirates, remember the reality behind the myths, the relentless hunger for freedom amidst the chaos of high seas. But what about the food? Pirates' day-to-day meals were anything but gourmet. Picture sitting down to eat at sea. Meager rations of hardtack and salted meat awaited. Hardtack was a dense bread, tough to chew and often filled with insects. Salted meat, the primary source of protein, was heavily seasoned to preserve it, making it overly salty and tough. It was a survival diet, leaving little room for variety or flavor. Fresh food was a luxury they seldom had. The lack of fruits and vegetables meant pirates often fell prey to scurvy. Scurvy is a disease caused by vitamin C deficiency. Imagine bleeding gums, joint pain, and a loss of teeth, all followed by fatigue that made even climbing the rigging an impossible task. The ocean provided some relief, as pirates relied on the sea to catch fresh food. Fish became the true treasure at times, but the bounty of the sea was unpredictable. Imagine relying on fishing for food, only to find the nets empty or the fish unsuitable to eat. The risk of dangerous storms or encountering predatory marine life made fishing an exhausting venture. Imagine the morale on Blackbeard's Queen Anne's Revenge on a scorching day. Pirates grumbling over their rations, eyes squinting on the horizon, and the relentless sun casting a punishing light on the deck. The crew's diet, scant at best, weighed heavily on morale and health. As the days stretched into weeks, their strength waned, and every stroke of the oar or hoist of the sail took all they had. Picturing yourself on such a diet is sobering. Imagine the toll it would take on your body, slow healing from cuts, constant fatigue, and a decline in mental sharpness. How would you lift a sword or run to fight when your energy is desperately low? The lack of nutrition made piracy even more perilous. An expedition for food was an arduous task. In those exhausting hunts, the crew had to be smart. Charting courses for plunder or stopping at port risks turned into hard choices. When they found barrel spoils from other ships, the mood would lighten, but often it was meager prey. For Blackbeard's crew, this meant a constant battle to keep spirits up amidst dire conditions. This diet left many pirates critically unwell. Over time, their once robust bodies became shadows of their former selves. A lack of proper meals began to sap at their vitality, making many unable to withstand the brutal life they chose. Their physical capability to battle storms and enemies weakened as their energy diminished. The vicious circle of harsh living conditions and poor nutrition formed a storm within the ship itself. Every pirate relied on reserves of grit to persevere, yet even the toughest souls found their strength depleted over time. While piracy promised wealth and adventure, these harsh realities showed their true nature. A pirate's diet was a constant reminder of the hardship, not just on the stormy seas, but from within their very bellies. But there was something else that fueled the pirates through their grueling days: adventure. The allure of the unknown and the thrill of the chase were intoxicating for many. Imagine the adrenaline rush when spotting a distant sail on the horizon, the potential of a fresh haul in sight. It was in these moments that excitement washed over the crew, momentarily setting aside the hunger and exhaustion. Yet, such adventures came with their own set of perils. Pirates faced not only storms and hunger, but also the mighty navies of great empires. Chased by those determined to end their wayward life, every encounter was a gamble. Could they outmaneuver and outgun a better-equipped foe, or would their stories end on the ocean floor? The stakes were always high. The pirates' world was as much about survival as it was about daring. To engage in combat meant ensuring the ship's cannons were loaded and ready. Each crew member had a role, knowing their performance could mean the difference between victory and defeat. They practiced tirelessly, honing their skills to become masters of the sea. Daring ideas and quick decisions were the tools of a successful pirate. Captains and their crews relied on surprise and speed, striking fear into even the boldest merchant mariners. Yet, even amidst these battles and the frantic fight for survival, there were quiet moments, times when the sea was calm and the stars glittered above like diamonds. A peaceful night offered a rare respite, reminding them of the vast and beautiful world they roamed. These moments of tranquility were brief but cherished. Their stories, often painted as glamorous, were rooted in a reality of grit and relentless struggle. Life as a pirate was a constant balancing act between ambition and survival, wild freedom and harsh straits. Crafted from tales of old, their legacy lives on, whispering mysteries of the deep. Remember, when you think of pirates, know them as brave yet burdened souls, dancing on the line between danger and destiny. Their legacy is much more than thieving and plundering. It's a testament to the unyielding human spirit facing immeasurable hurdles. a saga of grit, daring, and a ceaseless quest for the treasure of freedom. To capture a ship and its treasures was no simple task for pirates. Battles on the high seas would begin with explosive cannon fire, a thunderous prelude to the chaos that followed. Once a ship was disabled, the scene erupted into ferocious hand-to-hand combat. Swords clashed, pistols fired, and all chaos came alive on the decks. In these tussles, the risks were tremendous. Pirates faced severe injuries, some even fatal, and with no medical care available, a wound could mean a lingering death as infections set in. Imagine being hurt in battle, knowing there was no reliable help on the horizon. One infamous example of this brutality was when pirate Henry Every seized the legendary Ganji Sawai. A staggering treasure was captured, but not without grim cost. This raid, as chaotic as it was lucrative, became a legendary tale of violence at sea. Let's not forget the emotional toll such warfare exacted on pirates. The stress of facing skilled naval officers who had both strategy and firepower on their side was immense. Each battle carried with it the looming shadow of death, and fear became a constant companion. Could you handle the constant threat of a brutal demise every single time you raided a ship? It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? That mental strain exhausted pirates, often leaving them in a fragile state, caught between desperation and the lure of riches. For pirates, warfare wasn't just a matter of strategy. It was about enduring the incredible peril it posed every moment. Each fight left deep scars, both physically and mentally, as the cost of pirate warfare was significant. It shaped their worldview, tainting their pursuit of freedom with the ever-present risk and danger. Being a pirate wasn't just a test of physical endurance. It was also a relentless trial of the spirit. Their existence was a dance with destiny, pushing boundaries in a bid to seize control of their fate, despite the odds stacked against them. The lure of freedom and treasure was intoxicating, but the path to it was strewn with perils that tested their resilience and grit. A pirate's life was a continuous battle. Navigating the dangers of pirate warfare was an immense challenge, overshadowed by the promise of freedom and wealth beyond imagination. As we delve further into their world, it's crucial to remember the immense sacrifices hidden beneath their tales of adventure. To survive on the pirate's path meant understanding not just the trade of combat, but the strategy behind each strike. Pirates had to calculate each target, knowing which ship to pursue and when to retreat, should the odds not favor them. Every decision was critical, with both life and loot hanging in the balance. Pirate captains weren't just chosen for their bravery in battle. Cunning and foresight were equally prized. The ability to read the wind, predict enemy movements, and inspire their crew was crucial. Captains stood as leaders, not just through authority, but through their relational ties, piping life into weary souls, especially after fierce encounters. Trust among the crew was paramount. A ship's survival hinged on every member executing their roles seamlessly. Missteps could turn lethal under the weight of battle pressures. Moments of success were savored like rare jewels, offering brief celebration among life's perils. In these fleeting victories, the taste of freedom felt ever so close. Survival, however, came at a cost beyond immediate danger. Once adrenaline faded, pirates faced the gritty task of patching up what was left of their ship and crew. Damaged sails and weakened bodies required time and effort to rejuvenate. With each repair, renewed resolve. But it wasn't just the physical scars that marked a pirate. The mental strain of surviving in a harsh environment took its toll. They were constantly on edge, living in a world where a moment's lapse could mean disaster. Yet for pirates, this stress became the fire that hardened them, driving them into the next adventure. Facing formidable forces on the seas meant developing resilience and an unyielding spirit. These were the rebellious souls who sought something more than what life ashore offered, a chance to carve their own destiny despite the overwhelming odds. As the sails caught yet another wind, each pirate carried within themselves the paradox of fear and daring, longing for autonomy while navigating the dangerous and unpredictable ocean. Every tale of piracy, each legend and lore spins from threads of courage, hardship, and the unity found amidst adversity. As each new day breaks over the seascape, they set their compass, chasing an uncertain horizon. Shall we forge ahead, uncovering more of the stories the waves wished to tell. But what truly kept pirates from descending into total chaos were the strict codes they lived by. Romanticized tales often portray pirates as lawless rebels, yet reality demanded rigorous discipline to keep order aboard a vessel constantly teetering on the edge of chaos. Pirates operated under a set of stringent rules known as the Pirate Code. Each crew had its version, but the overarching theme was the same. Structure was paramount for survival. Pirate codes covered every aspect of life on board, from how spoils were divided to what happened if someone broke the rules. Decision-making often followed democratic lines, with significant decisions requiring a vote. But with democracy came responsibility, and the consequences for misconduct were severe. Consider Bartholomew Roberts, who had one of the most intricate codes. His rules ensured everyone knew their roles and the penalties for breaching them. Theft from a crewmate could lead to marooning, a cruel punishment leaving one stranded on a deserted island, or take Blackbeard. His code was a stern reminder of how discipline was enforced. Flogging or beatings were harsh but standard punishments. These rituals ensured that unity and compliance were maintained, even as the crew pursued the elusive dream of freedom. Despite their democratic practices, the consequences of disobeying the code were nothing short of brutal. Rule breakers faced possible death, a fate haunting pirates continuously. This constant threat lurked in their minds, a relentless reminder of the tightrope they walked. The social structure on pirate ships was as strict as their rules. Each crew member had a voice, but it came with the weight of severe repercussions if misused. Pirates called for order to ensure their venture's success, but maintaining such order came at an unimaginable emotional cost. Living in fear of punishment was part of pirate life, a silent torment etched into their existence. Navigating this perilous path meant each pirate had to weigh every action against potential punishment. It wasn't just physical endurance and cunning that defined them, but their mental fortitude in the face of relentless pressure. Imagine living every day with the threat of severe consequences hanging over your head, knowing any mistake could lead to life-threatening punishment. Could you bear the weight of such a disciplined yet harrowing existence? Constant vigilance was the only way pirates managed to hold it all together. Sailing the seas, these rogues faced a relentless barrage of challenges that tested their resolve beyond their physical and mental limits. Imagine standing at the helm, scanning the vast expanse for any signs of a threat or an opportunity. Every ripple in the water or distant shape could signal a life-altering moment. Constant awareness honed their instincts, allowing pirates to read the sea like a well-worn map. Drifting into mundane routines was a luxury they could seldom afford. Each day was a careful balance between survival and the pursuit of freedom. Routines were matched by unpredictability. One moment they might be repairing sails, the next preparing to engage an incoming vessel. Every pirate had to master numerous skills: rope work, navigation, fighting. Being a jack of all trades was essential, as any shortfall could turn dire swiftly. Imagine lying awake, drifting off into an uneasy sleep amid the sound of creaking wood and waves crashing against the hull, alert to any sudden shout that might signal danger. Relying on each other wasn't just necessary, it was vital. Pirates built a community based on mutual reliance. The very survival of the crew depended on this indispensable bond of trust. At times, cultural diversity on ships was as rich as the ocean they sailed. Pirates hailed from different lands, bringing various languages and traditions. This melting pot proved advantageous, as each brought unique skills and perspectives. Their shared struggles forged unity from diversity, turning constraints into creative solutions was second nature. As for their cunning tactics, patience was a virtue. Pirates learned to wait for the perfect moment in pursuing their prey. The sea's great expanse was both their playground and their hiding place, a canvas for crafting audacious strategies. In pursuing goals, pirates were united by more than greed. The dream of claiming their destiny drove them, an adventure shared by all, bound by their irrepressible human spirit. Yet, despite the struggles, moments of joy punched through like rays of sunshine. Laughter broke the monotony through tales of exploits and future dreams, bonding them further. They may have been driven by treasure, but the challenges they overcame bound them like family. A brotherhood built in adversity, woven through hardship, laughter, and shared adventure. These legendary figures, though painted in dark hues, were driven by human desires we all share, a yearning for freedom, unity amidst chaos, and life controlled by their compass. And so they ventured forth, guided by stars dancing above, each shimmering light a reminder of dreams pursued beyond the horizon. As we delve deeper into their daring stories, we find that these were souls brimming with life. Every wave they conquered bore the echoes of their grit and relentless pursuit. The legends of piracy reveal truths wrapped in narratives of defiance, offering insights into facing adversity with valor. And so the tales continue, pirates, mysterious melodies lingering across the seas, forever etched in the whispers of the salty wind. So, next time you imagine pirates in their timeless pursuit, think beyond the swashbuckling stories captured in film and literature. Feel the heartbeat of their spirit, the pulse of adventure, and the intoxicating freedom drawing them into the unknown. Through these stories, we're reminded of humanity's undying quest to break free from chains and chart its path. The sea was a teacher to those who dared. It taught resilience through endless waves, hope through distant horizons, and unity through shared challenges. Revisiting the bygone era of pirates invites us to find courage in adversity, to navigate life's unforgiving seas, driven by dreams as bold as a pirate's compass, guiding them to distant shores. The pirate's journey isn't just a reflection of their past. It's an invitation to explore our own desires, to seek and conquer, paving paths through the uncharted seas of our modern-day living. As they set their gaze to new horizons, so might we embrace their spirit in the hopes of chasing our personal treasures, wherever the winds of life may take us. Ever been caught in a storm? Multiply that by 10. Imagine the raw fury of the open sea, where the horizon closes in and the sky turns an ominous shade of gray. These were not gentle summer showers, but tempestuous gales capable of tearing apart the strongest resolve. Pirate ships were particularly vulnerable to these fierce tempests. Built from wood and canvas, they withstood only so much punishment before splintering, leaving their inhabitants at the mercy of Poseidon's will. The threat wasn't just a possibility, it was a certainty. With no lifeboats, a shipwreck was synonymous with doom. History has immortalized tales of pirate ships lost to these monstrous storms. Take the tragic end of Sam Bellamy's Whydah. Near Cape Cod, a raging storm claimed the vessel and its crew, turning dreams of fortune into chilling, haunting tales. Such stories remind us of the fragile thread their lives hung upon. Without modern weather prediction tools, the anticipation of a storm was a nerve-wracking affair for pirates. The crew watched the skies with an unease that only grew as the winds began to howl in the distance. A single storm could mean complete obliteration, and the men knew it. Feeling helpless at nature's mercy, pirates faced a different kind of enemy, one they couldn't fight with swords or cannons. Anxiety was palpable as they braced against the mounting waves, hearts pounding as thunder roared overhead. In those moments, unity became their lifeline. In the face of an uncontrollable threat, there was a constant undercurrent of tension aboard the pirate ships. Every torn sail, every broken mast spoke of nature's untamable power, reminding them of the perpetual battle they fought. Storms added to the already perilous life at sea, amplifying the risk and uncertainty that pirates faced daily. The ocean was their playground, but it was also a keeper of secrets, where once thriving ships vanished without a trace. Weather was a silent adversary in their saga, its unpredictability weaving an ever-present danger into their lives. As the storm clouds gathered, so too did the shadows within the minds of these daring seafarers. The threat of a storm loomed like a specter over every venture, the tension among pirates intensifying with each ominous rumble of thunder. These were the moments that defined their resilience, enduring not just the physical might of the sea, but the psychological strain of confronting such overwhelming fury. With nothing but their courage and the ship beneath them, pirates continually challenged the ocean's might. Their spirit was forged in these trials, each storm a test of their resolve and a reminder of mortality's closeness. Everyday life was a balance, constantly hearing the sea's call, tempered by the knowledge of its equally destructive potential. Pirates pushed forward, ever defiant against the storm's howl. It was this never-ending dance with danger that shaped these notorious figures of history. The call of the sea, a paradox drawing men into its embrace with both promise and threat. Each storm, a roaring reminder of nature's untamed force. Faced with this uncontrollable power, pirates lived in a world where the boundary between adventure and oblivion blurred. In those moments, determination was the sturdy mast they clung to. The will to continue, to face another day, against whatever the weather might throw their way. It was this enduring spirit that carried pirates through the harshest tempests the sea had to offer. The lessons learned from these battles with the elements endured. Pirates emerged, battered but unyielding, their legends a testament to human endurance in the face of nature's tempestuous fury. Their stories continue to stir the imagination, whispering through time like the soft breath of ocean spray. And yet, not all dangers on the high seas came from nature itself. Pirates also had to be wary of rival crews and ships intent on catching them off guard. In a world where loyalty was as fluid as the ocean, allegiances could shift, turning allies into adversaries in a heartbeat. Imagine the tension when two ships spotted each other on the horizon. Both would maneuver carefully, gauging whether they were friend or foe. Diplomacy on the seas was often a delicate balance between strength and cunning. The unpredictable nature of these encounters forced pirates to remain vigilant and agile. One misstep could lead to catastrophe. Engaging in parley, temporary negotiations between crews, became a key strategy. It was a chance to size each other up, identify potential threats, or even forge temporary alliances. Parley wasn't always about words, though. Often it was a strategic play, buying time to prepare for a swift escape or arrange an ambush. Clever tactics like these kept pirates one step ahead of potential captors. In rare moments, these sea negotiations led to collaborations. Two crews might join forces for a mutual benefit, like tackling a well-armed merchant fleet or amassing supplies quickly. Such partnerships, however, were a double-edged sword. While they could multiply their strength, trust was never absolute in the world of piracy. Trust was constantly tested as piracy thrived on deception. Double crosses were not uncommon. A ship invited for parley might end up being captured by surprise. Knowing when to trust and when to be wary was a skill every pirate had to develop. Those who failed learned harsh lessons, or worse, never lived to learn at all. Not all conflicts were resolved diplomatically. The open sea was an arena where pirates displayed their cunning. Using fog for stealth, sailing close to the wind, or devising elaborate ruses like flying false flags to appear friendly until the last moment. Every play was calculated, targeting both resources and morale. These tactics exemplified the clever, sometimes ruthless nature of pirate life. Survival dictated everything. Each day on the high seas offered a new challenge in a treacherously beautiful expanse. At night, under veils of darkness, ships became spectral silhouettes against the horizon. This was the time when pirates set their most daring plans into motion. Stars served as guides, and quiet whispers carried strategies across decks. For young cabin boys and seasoned swashbucklers alike, the ocean was a vast unknown, filled with both the thrill of the chase and the dread of discovery. Even within the cramped quarters of their ship, the horizon promised adventure. But the reality, as often was the case, could be sobering. Having weathered countless storms and escaped foes, pirates understood that each lull was momentary. The rare quiet nights were a precious opportunity for reflection. Gazing at the vast starlit dome overhead allowed them to dream, to hope, and to claim silent victories in their hearts. These moments of peace were a time for songs of legend and fortune. Laughter echoed across the waves as stories grew taller with each retelling, and the salty air became thick with camaraderie and hope. As dawn's first light broke across the waters, the illusion of serenity faded. Once again, the sea became a chessboard of opportunity and risk. Pirates, ready to chart the next course, would recall their collective tales of courage, each one a stitch in the fabric of their shared journey. Yet, the promise of freedom called them forward. Each new day was a fresh page in their ongoing saga, as endless as the horizon itself. The stories told over the firelight at night became promises of the adventures to come, always pushing them onward. Imagine the scene. Pirates hanging in public squares, a stark warning to those who might think of joining their ranks. Bounties placed on their heads were not just deterrents, but declarations of war against piracy itself. Governments around the world decided enough was enough. They sanctioned pirate hunters, skilled professionals like Woodes Rogers, tasked with bringing an end to piracy. These men became the embodiment of fear for pirates, relentless in pursuing these sea bandits to the ends of the earth. Facing arrest was only the beginning of a pirate's woes. Once captured, they were delivered into the hands of a legal system keen on making an example of them. Trials were swift and merciless. Few escaped with their lives. Take Charles Vane as an example. Known for his ferocity, Vane met a grim fate at the gallows after being caught. The spectacle of his trial and execution served as a chilling message to all pirates. These were not isolated incidents. They became part of a broader political stance. It wasn't just about crime on the high seas. Piracy was viewed as outright rebellion, a direct challenge to the power and authority of governments. As such, it faced intense crackdowns. The repression was severe, with legal systems acting swiftly. Punishments were meted out with harsh finality. Legal pressures were immense. Navy ships became constant shadows, always ready to pounce. Each port held the threat of capture. Even society itself turned its back on pirates, seeing them as villains rather than explorers of freedom. Piracy, painted as a path of adventure and riches, was shrouded by a far darker reality. Legal and societal pressures compounded the already harsh existence of pirates. They found themselves hemmed in on all sides, with few places of refuge. Every port became a potential trap. The ever-watchful eyes of the law hunted them, turning once safe havens into perilous locales. For pirates, these lands, so close to the treasures they sought, now brimmed with nothing but potential peril. Caught in this vice grip, pirates faced a dilemma: continue their life of plunder, forever glancing over their shoulders, or abandon what little freedom they had tasted for a chance at safety. Yet, such choices were rarely easy or straightforward. The pursuit of piracy was not just a battle against the seas. It was also a relentless conflict with the powers determined to erase their existence. With every captured pirate, with every gallows they erected, the legal system made its stance clear: rebellion will not be tolerated. Yet the spirit of defiance lingered. For those who remained, the promise of freedom, though fleeting, continued to call. Such was the indomitable drive of these souls, even as the legal pressure suffocated their existence. Faced with this relentless hunt, life on the sea became a desperate gambit. The dream of a life lived by their own rules was overshadowed by the encroaching threat of capture and punishment. Each horizon brought with it uncertainty, a question of when, not if, they'd encounter the long arm of the law. Despite the grim threats, the lure of piracy captured the imagination of countless adventurers. They craved the freedom from oppressive regimes and the bonds of convention. Pirates, with their defiant spirit, lived on their own terms, yet they were perpetually hunted. Pirates needed places to rest and resupply, free from legal scrutiny. For these runaway outlaws, pirate havens like Nassau became invaluable. Here, pirate crews found respite from pursuit and a semblance of community. Nassau transformed into a melting pot of backgrounds and experiences, an unofficial republic thriving on its defiance. The pirate haven offered more than just shelter. It was a place where rogues swapped tales of daring escapades, exchanging secrets and forming alliances. Captains and crews would plan future raids amid laughter and revelry. It was a rare moment where pirates could let down their guard, if only for a little while. However, even these beacons of pirate life faced threats. The golden age of piracy was not immune to cracks. Governors and military forces attempted to reclaim control over these havens. Authorities sought to dismantle the enclave's spirit by targeting its wealth and freedom. In response, pirates had to remain resourceful and nimble, retreating deeper into the shadows when threatened. The constant cat-and-mouse dynamic between pirates and their pursuers only hardened their resolve. This perseverance was a testament to their unyielding desire for a life unconstrained by anyone else's rules. The allure of the sea had the power to unite even the most disparate of individuals. Pirates formed unique bonds, bonded by their shared desire for adventure and autonomy. But beneath the surface lay constant tension, loyalty and deception walking hand in hand. The bonds forged aboard these ships created a family of sorts, marked by both competition and collaboration. Shared risks and rewards cemented strong ties, yet their existence at the edge of legality bred constant vigilance. Trust was earned with time and action. The happy moments weaved into their woven lives ensured pirate legends would endure, captivating generations to come. Their tales are more than folklore and thrilling stories. They echo the universal longing for self-determination. Reflecting on piracy offers a glimpse into a gritty, challenging, yet electrifying world. These rebels of the sea challenged authority, living fast and free, but they paid the price of uncertainty and danger. For every sunset on the waves, shadows of peril lurked, demanding their constant courage and cunning. Pirates knew that the thrill of the next plunder came with risks, the dread of betrayal, arrest, or shipwreck never far from their minds. Yet it was this very thrill that made them legends. Their life was a gamble, a throw of the dice full of bravado and resilience. With their lives tightly wound around adventure and adversity, pirates embraced their unique existence. They were living proofs that even in the face of relentless adversity, the human spirit to seek independence and adventure could not be entirely quelled. As we sail through their stories, admiring their audacity, it's a powerful reminder to us all, a call to embrace our passions and chart our own course, irrespective of the challenges that lie ahead. Whether it be facing thundering storms, daring battles, or evading capture, each challenge shaped pirate lore. Life at sea required meticulous planning and fearless dives into the unknown. And from these bold chapters emerged iconic legends that continue to inspire. Their essence lives on, captured in a whispering breeze, in the rhythmic roll of the ocean. It's as timeless as the sea itself, forever urging us to pursue our own visions with courage. These narratives of strength and survival invite us to reflect on where our own adventures lie, to ponder what risks we might take in pursuit of freedom and fulfillment. Just like those daring pirates of yore, ever chasing the horizon. The tales of piracy capture not only the tumultuous waves, but the tides within us all. They resonate with our desire for exploration, bravely navigating the seas of life. Such was their legacy, a testament to bold spirits who dared to dream against all odds. The empires of the past aimed to quash this spirit, but only reshaped its influence. As one era of piracy ended, new ones invariably arose, embodying the same spirit under different guises. This indomitable pursuit of freedom remains entrenched in the human condition, transcending time and circumstance. Through history's lens, piracy reveals itself as a complex tapestry, a fascinating weave of rebellion and romance. Together we explore this vibrant past, unearthing the lessons and stories that continue to captivate. Revisiting this bygone era is an invitation to rediscover our own tenacity, to rekindle the embers of our adventurous core, reminding us that some part of us remains eternally anchored to the sea. Though their ships have long vanished beneath the waves, the spirit of the pirates endures. It reminds us that our own ambitions, however daunting, can likewise weather the storms of time. Be it in legendary treasure maps or the haunting call of the sea, there's an enduring truth. The world is full of uncharted territories, waiting for our own stories to unfold. The sagas of old leave whispered legacies, encouraging us to venture beyond the horizons of today and into the endless possibilities of tomorrow. Let us embrace the lessons they left in their wake, stories of grit and guts that forever urge us onward. For the pirates of the past, the sea was both a friend and a formidable foe. As we glimpse their daring exploits, we're reminded of the endless quest within to pursue what ignites our spirits. And so, their chronicles continue to echo, inviting us to discover the treasures lying beyond our own horizons. The constant threat of death and isolation was a heavy burden on every pirate's mind. Imagine living each day with the looming uncertainty that it could be your last. This perpetual fear created a mental strain that was almost unbearable. Pirates, chasing freedom on the high seas, faced enormous psychological challenges. Their grueling lifestyle resulted in symptoms akin to PTSD. The unending danger from both nature and human foes left many pirates in a state of paranoia, wary of betrayal at every turn. Trust was a rare commodity, and yet it was crucial for their survival. Any misstep or suspicion could lead to a crew turning against each other. History is rife with tales of stress-induced mutiny. Fear and distrust could rip apart the fragile bonds that held pirate crews together. This relentless tension often compromised their ability to function as a team. Reliable partnerships were hard to maintain when each member was constantly questioning the loyalty of others. Take Stead of Bonnet, for example. His partnership with Blackbeard was notoriously volatile. Bonnet struggled to assert control amidst fierce pressure. These discordant alliances underscored the severe psychological toll on pirate life. Unable to cope with the stress, some pirates deserted, unable to bear the psychological burden any longer. Imagine being constantly on edge, never having a moment of peace. Without the comforts or means to decompress like we have today, pirates had no respite from their overwhelming lifestyle. Their ships, full of discomfort and devoid of privacy, became both home and prison. Consider how modern comforts help us today to manage stress. Now imagine enduring the pressures of pirate life without them. It's nearly unimaginable. The absence of any relief escalated their mental exhaustion, a silent torment gnawing at their sanity. The psychological breakdowns were frequent. They created a ripple effect that eroded the crew's cohesiveness. Every success in battle or escape from capture briefly lifted their spirits, but the return to harsh reality was swift and exacting. Their fleeting moments of victory only highlighted the ever-present threats. In essence, pirate life was not just a test of physical mettle. The mental cost was equally high. Each day wore at their resilience like a storm eroding a cliff face. Their pursuit of freedom came with a weighty psychological price, leaving many shattered by the strain. The allure of a pirate's life with promises of freedom and wealth was deceptive. Beneath the adventurous veneer was a harsh reality that threatened their very sanity. It is this often overlooked aspect that truly made pirate life as much a mental battle as a physical one. Imagine living in these conditions, constantly in fear, without any escape. The psychological toll was immense, forging a world where every day was a struggle to maintain not just bodily vitality, but also mental stability. Thus, pirate life unfolded not only as a tale of daring, but as a relentless psychological ordeal. For each pirate who risked it all on these unforgiving seas, there was a constant battle not only against foes, but the creeping shadows within their minds. These undetected threats made the life of a pirate perilous in ways history often leaves unsaid. And so, as we reflect upon these legends, it is vital to remember that every pirate carried a heavy burden on treacherous waters. They were figures not just of folklore, but of human endurance, reminding us that the quest for freedom isn't solely about overcoming external forces. It's also about confronting the internal challenges that accompany such a bold pursuit. This aspect truly highlights the deadly psychological game that underpinned pirate life. Their stories stand as reminders of the resilience needed to navigate not only physical storms, but the tumultuous currents within. As we continue to uncover the depths of their world, let this insight deepen our understanding of their indomitable spirit in their relentless pursuit of what lay beyond the horizon. Here's the hidden side of pirate life, a perilous game of survival. The risks were not limited to the seas and rival crews. Even within their tight-knit community, betrayal could rear its head. In a world built on fragile alliances and the constant allure of treasure, loyalty was a rare and precious commodity. Imagine the tension simmering below deck, where trust was a currency more valuable than gold. Pirates, ever wary of double crosses, kept their treasure maps and plans close to their chests. Yet, the lure of riches could tempt even the most steadfast crew member. A murmur of dissent, a whispered plot, any crack in unity could spell disaster. The price of betrayal was steep. Mutineers faced brutal retribution. Pirates had a cold justice system, swift and harsh, often resulting in marooning or worse. Living by the code was crucial, for it was the only thing standing between chaos and camaraderie. Yet, against this backdrop of mistrust, bonds were forged in the crucible of adversity. Crew members relied on each other, harnessing their collective skill and cunning to outwit foes and evade capture. Their shared tales of danger and survival became the stitches binding them together. This fierce loyalty was the backbone of pirate success. And let's not forget the allure of myth and legend that cloaked pirate life. Stories of daring adventurers and untold riches captured the imaginations of those on land. They painted a picture of a life filled with swashbuckling, fortune. But as we've uncovered, the reality was much grittier. The life of a pirate, while thrilling, was also fraught with danger and uncertainty. Still, the romance of the sea called to many souls eager to escape the hardships of life ashore. They were drawn to the promise of adventure, willing to embrace the risks for a taste of true freedom. This desire to break free from society's chains lived at the heart of every pirate's story. The enduring tales of piracy continue to inspire, offering a vivid window into a world alive with excitement and peril. As we navigate our own seas, these stories encourage us to chase our dreams, to brave the unknown, guided by the indomitable spirit of those who once sailed the high seas. Though the age of pirates has long since passed, their legacy remains. It speaks to the courage required to pursue one's path, a testament to the human spirit daring to dream. These tales remind us that while the sea was a formidable foe, it was also a canvas for those daring enough to chart their own course. As we reflect on this intriguing chapter of history, let us take with us the lessons etched into every wave they conquered. May they spur us to confront our challenges with the same grit and tenacity, to keep searching, with stars above as our guide, exploring the horizons of our own potential. The echoes of their tales linger still. In every whispered wind and every pen stroke recounting their adventures, they call on us to remember the enduring power of courage and camaraderie. And so, the spirit of the pirates lives on, in the heartbeats of all who dare to seek their fortune on the seas of life. Ahoy, young explorers, ready to set sail on another exciting journey? Let's unravel some common pirate myths and see how they stack up against the facts. First up is the infamous walking the plank tale. Contrary to popular belief, this was not a routine punishment on pirate ships. While it's a staple in pirate lore and movies, historical evidence for it is actually pretty scarce. Pirates had other, far more common ways to deal with traders and captives. Next, let's talk about those iconic peg legs and eye patches. While it's true that life as a pirate was dangerous and could lead to severe injuries, not every pirate sported a wooden leg or an eye patch. The few who did became legends, inspiring countless stories and images of the swashbuckling rogue we've come to love in blockbuster films and adventure books. Now, how about the romantic idea that pirates lived lives of endless treasure hunts and exotic ventures? Sadly, the truth is far less glamorous. Though the lure of riches drove many to the seas, most of a pirate's time was spent maintaining the ship, keeping watch, and surviving. Treasure, if they ever found it, came after long stretches of mundane and grueling toil. Books and movies often paint a rosy picture of pirate life, a world filled with adventure and fortune. But reality was filled with hardship, scarce food, and constant peril. The thrilling sword fights and grand chases seen on screen are artistic exaggerations, capturing only glimpses of the real harsh pirate life. And let's not overlook the media's role in shaping these myths. The classic tales of characters like Captain Hook from Peter Pan and the iconic Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean bring to life an adventurous existence that, while entertaining, steer far from historical accuracy. Acknowledging these stories doesn't mean pirates were entirely dull or without excitement. Their lives did have sparks of adventure, moments when spotting a potential ship meant a possible haul. Yet understanding the real weight of their day-to-day struggles lets us appreciate their grit and resilience all the more. So what's the takeaway from all this? Recognizing the truths behind the legends doesn't diminish the fascination with pirate life. Instead, it enriches our understanding of their world. Pirates were not just thrill seekers. They were individuals bound by hardships, camaraderie, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. Their real stories offer poignant lessons about courage, survival, and the cost of liberty. With reality laid bare, you might wonder if the romanticized idea of piracy still has its allure. Now that we've uncovered the gritty, dangerous realities, would you still trade places with a pirate on the high seas? Reflect upon their resilience and the spirit of adventure that thrived despite everything. Consider the lessons their stories impart, and next time you dream of adventure, allow yourself to appreciate not just the excitement, but the profound courage of living on one's own terms against tremendous odds. Imagine the thrill in the air each time a pirate caught sight of a distant ship. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow on the water, hope soared. Maybe this was the moment, the chance to secure the treasure that fueled their daring dreams. On a pirate ship, each crew member knew their role by heart. They executed well-rehearsed maneuvers, closing in on their prey with precision. Every eye scanned the horizon, every ear listened closely for signals from the captain. In these moments, unity was paramount. Trust wasn't just an asset, it was the foundation of every pirate's life. Crewmates depended on one another to overcome any obstacle, from enemy ships to tumultuous storms. Despite the thrill of the chase, caution guided their actions. A successful pirate strike required patience and keen judgment. The wrong move could change fortune's winds with little warning. Pirates often employed decoys, false flags, or surprise raids to gain the upper hand. Creativity was essential. They might appear as a harmless merchant ship until they were close enough to strike. Timing and deception formed the heart of pirate strategy. Victory was intoxicating, but it carried its own weight. With spoil came the responsibility to share fairly. The pirate code demanded equal distribution, a practice that fostered deep loyalty among the crew. But even in victory, vigilance remained crucial. A single lapse in judgment could lead to defeat. Defended ships weren't easy prey, and a pirate's overconfidence could spell disaster. Stories were told of encounters gone awry, ships lost in the mist, chests empty, leaving nothing but dashed hopes. Reflect on this for a moment. Imagine the uncertainty of life at sea, each encounter a balance between glory and ruin. It was a relentless cycle of risk and reward. When night fell, the sea turned eerily calm. Fleeting victories were remembered, and tales grew taller beneath the starry sky. Camaraderie blossomed as laughter echoed across the open water, solidifying the bonds forged through adversity. Yet, the promise of adventure always beckoned with the dawn. Each pirate carried a flicker of hope for the day's conquests. The horizon loomed wide with opportunity, calling them into the unknown moments ahead. These swashbucklers may have pursued treasure, but their true quest lay in seeking the independence denied by society. They chased a life untethered to rules and expectations, driven by their untamable spirit. The sea, though perilous, offered a promise uniquely its own. It was a place where the bold found their calling, where the dreams of fortune and freedom shimmered like mirages in the distance. For every pirate who dared to set sail, the journey was as much about the chase as the treasure itself. It was the very essence of adventure that ruled their hearts, urging them ever forward. As history casts its gaze backward, we see them as figures caught between truth and legend. Their narratives woven with bravery, hardship, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. So next time you think of pirates, remember their tenacity. Their stories may have grown into folklore, but behind them lay lives lived passionately, fueled by a desire to chart their path upon the vast, open sea. Let their tales inspire us, a reminder that the quest for freedom and adventure is a timeless call echoing through history.